It's crazy. It's really crazy.
It's a lot of extra work, a lot of extra
It's
steps.
an insane process.
This stuff, it does not move.
Bubby wubby boo. That's not his chin.
On Paranorman, how are we going to animate the faces?
Replacement animation.
Replacement animation.
Replacement animation, where each face is put on and it's a new mouth shape.
That's how you get the most out of your characters.
So 24 mouth shapes will make up a second of vocabulary or emotion.
Actually, we're learning about it in school. Oh yeah!
And what, one of the big things about taking something out and putting a different object in is how it registers, how it's going to appear like the last one.
Because if you think about having a different face upwards of 12 to 24 times a second,
The color has to be exactly the same. The shape has to be exactly the same. They have to work perfectly.
Yeah, of course. Don't get weird or anything.
These faces are done with a powder printer.
It just lays down a very thin layer of powder until eventually you have a three-dimensional object.
Something like this.
Yeah, something like this.
and you take that face and you dip it into super glue.
Awesome!
We've already designed them. We know they work. Now we need to make.
Thousands and thousands of different facial expressions.
So you have so much stuff to make.
Here's a recipe we used for the film Paranorman. We started out with 8,000 pounds of printing powder,
77 gallons of super glue,
300 puppets,
40,000 faces,
50 stages,
5,000 X-Acto blades,
66,400 rare earth magnets,
729 sheets of sandpaper,
2 gallons of white resin.
25,000 purple nitrile gloves for safety reasons.
You need a massive warehouse.
Yeah, you need a lot of room.
Put those all together and bake for 127 human years. You got yourself a stop motion feature.
Yum.
Well, this the light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This the light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This the light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Every day, every day, every day, every day, every day, I'll let my little light shine. Well, it's the light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. It's the light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. It's the light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Every day, every day, every day, every day, every day, I'll let my little light shine.
Stop motion is different from other forms of animation in that everything you'll see within the shot that moves has to be moved by somebody. So you start with a puppet that has a little metal skeleton inside, so you can pose it and it'll hold its position. And you move it slightly, you'll take a picture, you move it a little bit more, take another picture, and when you knit enough of those individual pictures together and play them, it looks like the character's brought to life.
Yeah, of course. Don't get weird or anything.
Paranorman is the most ambitious stop-motion film ever made.
As we got into developing it, it just got bigger.
We wanted to take this art form that we all love and just push it as far forward as we possibly could. And that required a lot of characters, that required big action scenes, that required big sets.
But it's not just about bigness and scale. It's also up the other end, and it's down to the nuance and detail as well.
You can look deeper into the background, and we've made everything and detailed everything, right down to the newspaper and the bedspread. And if you look closely, you'll see a taxidermed velociraptor head in the background.
There's a richness that just comes through in every frame.
There was a lot of stuff in the script that was problematic for stop motion, but that was a reason to do it.
We have very high-speed chase sequences with enormous effects.
And obviously that's pretty difficult with puppets.
Well, duh.
One of the problems is how to get all the performance you need through these puppets.
Norman!
We use replacement animation to animate the faces, where each face is put on and it's a new mouth shape.
So we produce thousands and thousands of different facial expressions.
Awesome.
It's a lot of extra work, a lot of extra
It's an
steps.
insane process.
Do I look crazy to you?
But in the end, it's extraordinarily rewarding.
There's this kind of love and care that's gone into every single little prop or piece of lighting. It all adds up to this great, fantastic whole.
You take something that is an inanimate object, and by the end of this process, you have something that's truly come alive.
Are you okay?
For me, that's the closest thing to magic that I can imagine.
Come